Good morning. So today we're going to talk about order of operations. You should have your composition notebooks. On the very first page of your composition notebook, you're going to have calculator tips, so don't write on that very first page. But on the second page, we are going to put the title Order of Operations and then also put today's date in the top right-hand corner. Okay, so today we're going to talk about order of operations, and we're going to take our notes in our composition notebook. On the first page of your composition notebook, you should have a title of the page called Calculator Tips. So if you don't have that, go ahead and do that now. We're not going to write on that page today other than putting the title Calculator Tips. And then on the second page of your notebook, that's where we're going to take our notes today. So go ahead and put the title Order of Operations and also put today's date in the upper right hand corner of the page. Okay, so we're on the second page of your notebook. The title is Order of Operations, and we're talking about what that means. So order of operations literally means the order that you do your operations, and operations are anything that you can do to a number or a variable, such as add, subtract, multiply, or divide. So when we talk about order of operations, we usually use the acronym PEMDAS. Some people say, "Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally," to remember the order. You might have heard that before. And this tells us the order that we're going to do our operations. So the P at the beginning of PEMDAS stands for parentheses. It could also stand for brackets, and you're going to try to do anything that's inside those parentheses or brackets first before you do anything else. The E stands for exponent. So the next order that you do operations would be any exponents or powers that you have on your numbers. Then we have multiply and divide. And multiply and divide can really be in either order, so we usually just do them in whatever order we see them. It doesn't matter if you multiply first and then divide, or you could divide first and then multiply. So they can be switched, they go together. And then the A and the S stand for add and subtract. And once again, these two also can be done either addition first or subtraction first. So now we're going to do a couple of examples of problems for order of operations. So our first problem, which you can write in your notes, is number 1 here. And so PEMDAS, I'll write it over here so we have reference to it. We're going to use PEMDAS, or order of operations, for every single problem that you do in any math class. So it tells me to do what's inside the parentheses first. And so 2 plus 3 is 5. So I've now added the 2 plus 3, that becomes 5. And now I have 5 times 5 as my problem. We don't need the parentheses anymore because I did what was inside of them. So 5 times 5 gives me 25, and that's the answer to this problem here. Number 2, same thing. I'm going to start with my parentheses. So 30 minus 3. I'm going to do that part first. That becomes 27. So now I have 27 divided by 3. You could write it with this division symbol here, or you could write it as a fraction. And 27 divided by 3 gives me 9. So that's my answer to that problem. And then problem number 3. We want to do what's inside the parentheses first. If you didn't have two numbers in here, let's say instead you had 3 plus x, you could also get rid of the parentheses by distributing. But we don't need to do that here because we can actually do what's inside these parentheses, which is 3 plus 3. So that gives me 6 inside the parentheses. Now I left these parentheses here because it's touching that 9. I could have also written 9 times 6 divided by 6. These are the same here. And either of these tells us to multiply and then divide. It doesn't matter if you multiply first or divide first. So for example, if I wanted to divide first, 6 divided by 6 is 1, and 9 times 1 is 9. If I wanted to multiply first, 9 times 6 is 54. Is 54, and then I would get 54 divided by 6, which gives me 9 as well. So it doesn't matter which order you do the multiplication and division in, they go together, just like addition and subtraction also go together. Okay, so we're going to do a few more problems. Number 4. Now this big fraction here kind of gives you invisible parentheses because whatever is on the numerator or whatever's on the denominator of the fraction has to stay together. That's what the fraction bar tells us. So we have these parentheses that we're going to start with. We still have PEMDAS. And so 2 plus 3 gives me 5, and 5 plus 4 gives me 9. So now on the bottom of my fraction I have a 9. So that's turned into a 9. So I've done the parentheses. They weren't real parentheses, they were kind of invisible parentheses there because of the fraction bar. Now my next step is exponents. I don't have any exponents on this problem. Then after that I can multiply or divide. So here I have division, 27 divided by 9, which is 3. And so then I have 3 plus 3. That's my last step, would be addition. So 3 plus 3 gives me 6. So the answer to this problem is 6. And on problem number 5, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to start with our parentheses. So whatever's inside here we need to do first. However, we have different operations inside this set of parentheses. So we're going to start inside the parentheses with multiplication because that is the first thing before we do addition and subtraction. So 6 times 2 gives me 12. And then I'm just going to bring everything else straight down the way that I see it. 2 plus 2, and minus 4. We still have our parentheses. So we're now inside the parentheses. All I have left is addition and subtraction. And like I said before, you can add and subtract in any order you want. So we're just going to go from left to right here. 2 plus 12 gives me 14. 14 plus 2 gives me 16. And 16 minus 4 gives me 12. So this becomes 12. And now we have 12 times 2. That's our last operation. 12 times 2 is 24. So that's our answer to this problem. Okay, so now if you are in class, we are doing a bingo game in class and then a worksheet. And that's it.